Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Character Rehab with me, Lambert, and today we're going to deal with Doctor Strange. So, the basic layout is normals, specials, movements, assists, and supers. I'll be starting with his normals. Alright, so you have a standing jab here. It doesn't have much use outside of trying to start a chain into a combo. His crouching A, you're not going to find much use of it as an anti-air, so you're going to want to go with crouching B, which shows us very good anti-air and leads into combos for Doctor Strange. His far-standing fierce also, which is the same thing as close-standing fierce, can serve as the same purpose as long as it's timed well. It actually goes very far too. His crouching C also goes very far. It has deceiving range. It's actually the energy blast that's coming out of his two hands. And the cool thing about it is you can cancel off of all his normals. I'm not going to get into standing strong because it's a really bad button and doesn't really have any good use outside of combos. Back C is actually a counter move. It will counter all highs and mids. There's not really any mids in this game, but there are a couple of overheads. And as you can see, his exchange button actually serves as a good anti-air. Now, Impact Palm right here is also a very good unique normal. It will stun the opponent and crumple them upon hitting them, and you can follow up with a combo. This can also be done in the air. It will cause a really a fall state after the opponent is hit by it. They will go into a really long recovery period after getting hit by Impact Palm. A good air-to-air with Doctor Strange is Jump Strong. That also leads into some re-jump combos that he has, which will be shown later in the video. Okay, moving on to Doctor Strange's special moves, we have the Bolts of Danak, the L and medium punch version. The L version shoots out one bolt and quickly tracks the opponent, as the M version shoots out 3 bolts, has a little delay, then go towards the opponent. If you do hit Doctor Strange, he will stop the Bolts of Danak, or should I say they'll disappear off the screen. The Eye of Agamotto doesn't pack too much durability, but it does pack a lot compared to the rest of the cast. You can hit it with the Impact Palm. Don't expect it to beat projectiles like Akuma's, but you can use it. It's a good pressure tool. Mystic Sword is Doctor Strange's projectile footsie tool. Nothing beats this move out. I haven't found the limb yet that can. That's the footsie tool of choice. The Mystic Sword M and H pack a whole bunch of projectile durability. They blast through most projectiles in the game. The high punch version angling upward, and the medium punch version going straight across the screen. Now the Grace of Hoggoth, L or M, change the properties of the Flame of the Faltine. That's what they're there for. 2 L's will speed up, or even 1 Grace of Hoggoth with L will speed up the Flame of the Faltine, and 2 medium punch versions, or even 1, will cause an OTG capable explosion, being that if you knocked your opponent down and you put it next to him, it would OTG him. If you put it in the air, of course you're not going to get the same effect. Now, 2 L's, that is Grace of Hoggoth, actually speed up the projectile, whereas the red one will still make it travel slow, but it will cause an explosion as it passes through the perimeter of the Grace of Hoggoth, and it can even hit your opponent. You can combo off of it. Now, Doctor Strange's teleport is one of the quickest in the game, if not the quickest next to Jill's. The L version teleports in front of your opponent, the medium in back, and the fierce version above their heads, as you can see right here. There's not much more to say about Doctor Strange's special moves, except for that he's potentially the zoning king of the game. The Bolts of attack is done by pressing S and L together. And as you can see here, it's basically the same thing with the assists. The Bolts of Baltac do the exact same thing as the assists, except for you can better hit confirm off of it rather than, when you're doing it yourself as Doctor Strange. So he also has the Daggers of Danak. They do the same thing they do as their regular special move. And the Eye of Agamotto is the better choice of special because it acts as if a shield for you. And you don't have to bother impact palming it, and it will stay on screen whether Doctor Strange was hit or not. Now, getting into movement with Doctor Strange, the teleport is a real funny motion. It's DP, and when I mean DP, I mean back, down, down, back, and any one of the attack buttons, except for S, of course. So you're going to have to get really used to going back to neutral so that you don't get this motion by accident, but you also want to be able to do this motion upon command. You also want to take advantage of Doctor Strange having one of the fastest flight modes in the entire game, and that he can cancel off of normals to make his normal safe into his flight mode and into teleport. Now, Doctor Strange's supers are amongst the best when it comes to projectile wars. Now, this super right here will protect you from any projectile in the game. It has projectile invincibility, and it is mashable for extra damage. The spell of Vishanti is OTG capable and will track the opponent anywhere on screen, vertically, that is. So if they manage to dodge it, and I've seen this before, horizontally, well then you're gonna hope that they don't punish you, because Doctor Strange doesn't have a lot of life. Now, as for this level 3 super right here, Astro Magic, it has great distance, and it has a decent amount of invincibility, but it doesn't really, it's more for combos, because Doctor Strange is just not going to throw that out there. He's really going to be using his meters for Spell of Vishanti. Now, I want you guys to take a look at some of these bread and butters here. Now, there's plenty of really OD, and when I say OD, that means overdoing it, Doctor Strange combos out there, and these aren't exactly up to par with them, but they're just for you to play around with so you can understand what Doctor Strange is capable of. If you want to get advanced and all technical, then you can go do that yourself, because frankly, a lot of his combos take precision and height management, and they're hard. So keep that in mind when playing with Doctor Strange. You're gonna have to do really like what do I say, delays in your button presses as you do the impact palm loops. So remember to pause the video here and take a look at what Doctor Strange is doing, so you can get an idea of how to, or when you delay your inputs. So take a look at this, and I'll be with you just now. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like we here at FC are beating a dead horse when it comes to showing you these assists, except for Centurion Rush, which is kind of unique here in this particular guide. But what else do you want us to give you? Doctor Strange has an instant teleport, and all these assists basically cleave the screen off. They're some of the fastest assists in the game that have the highest projectile durability. Sentinel Force allows for multiple mix-ups. Plasma Beam is, come on, everybody's using Plasma Beam these days. It's the new fad, you know. And, you know, Hawkeye's Straight Arrow, if you're willing to deal with the consequence of using Hawkeye after, of course. Let's get into some advanced tactics and positioning, though. So, because Doctor Strange doesn't have really good buttons, and you're taking a big risk by even throwing buttons out there with him, you're going to have to get really good at zoning with him. And when I mean really good at zoning, I don't just mean throwing out projectiles. I mean, you really have to take heed of to where your opponent is and to where you want to be, and how you're going to force them into the position you want them into. Always, regardless, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, regardless if you've hit confirm your combo or not, if you're going to end a combo with Impact Palm, and which you always should to get the crumple stun, you should always go into flight mode. He could continue the combo regardless while he's in flight mode and follow up for extra damage. You also want to just abuse Mystic Sword. I watch so many videos and nobody's using Mystic Sword. Don't forget that Grace of Hoggoth with the Flames of the Faultine changed the projectile durability of the Flames of the Faultine, and it also changes the speed of it, so people should be abusing this. You can also send out the Eye of Agamotto in the air or on the ground and hit it with an Impact Palm and send it towards your opponent, which then it becomes a guessing game for him, because he doesn't know if you're going to teleport or shoot a high beam projectile durability projectile, which is of course the Mystic Sword, across the screen in conjunction with your own assist. And it just makes for a whole bunch of things on screen, and nobody likes that. Well, but anyway, don't forget also that Spell of Vishanti tracks your opponent, so if he makes any false move, he could throw out a jab. It'll punish the jab. It'll punish the whiff jab. So take heed of that. Don't forget, though, that Doctor Strange's buttons aren't that good. So please make use of the projectiles, please. So let me do a little recap for you here. He can teleport, And it's really fast. It's really, really fast. He has great zoning capability. He has a screen tracking hyper and a projectile reversal hyper, meaning that he wins all projectile wars when he has meter. He is bad health though, and his attacks are unsafe and they lack range. At least the fierce ones have range, but the short ones, the faster ones, you know, don't. And he needs a lot of execution and timing. So I put him in the upper mid tier, potentially high tier in the game, maybe S class. Ugh. Well, that's been another FingerCramp's Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom Rehab guide, and we brought Doctor Strange for you today, so thanks for watching.